Hello, welcome back. James here from Awaken Therapy. I've had a lot of requests to talk more about the shift, this time of transition that we're in. So today I just wanted to talk a bit more about my current understanding of what's going on, which of course is limited. There's so many people speaking about this from different angles at the moment, astrologically, cosmologically, scientifically, lots of different angles. But my understanding of it is that what's happened is there's been this energetic shifting on the planet where the two dimensions of consciousness that have been sort of overlapped for a long time are actually now starting to separate out. And so what that means is we're noticing more of this contrast between the parts of us that are in light, connected to source, that are higher vibration, and the parts of us that are still stuck in a lower consciousness, in a lower, denser vibration. And so what's being asked of us is to, choose essentially which pathway we want to go. If it was a scale, which side are we tipping onto? If this is some spiritual assessment process at the end of a 12,500 year cycle, then the assessment really is testing what are we ready for on a deep level. It's actually on a soul level. Have we responded enough to the light to be ready to upgrade into new earth, or do we still need the lessons and the learning available on old earth? And my understanding in this timeline split is that these two earths are separating out. New earth and old earth are separating out. So the new earth is really like an ascension. So people talk about 3D to 5D consciousness as the earth ascends into this new level of energetics. And there's a lot of astrology that explains this. There's a lot of astronomy and cosmology that explains it in terms of solar flares and photon bombardment and moving into a different photon belt in space. I certainly don't understand all the science of it, but I do know, as I'm sure you do too, is that things aren't normal. Things are changing. Everything's being amplified. And so if we're dealing with this timeline split or a dimensional separation, then really out there externally what we're seeing is more disparity. We're seeing more confusion, we're seeing more dramatic change, and we're seeing a greater division, if you like, between the light and the dark. So the lighter consciousness is manifesting in amazing movements towards social connection and ecology and people working in community, cooperatively, from a very loving place, connecting in lots of fresh ways, questioning things in fresh ways, jettisoning the old consciousness. A lot of the old institutions and establishments of things are being questioned. Think of things like the whole medical industry and things like this have been questioned now as people are choosing more, what do we want? What are we aligning with? And so what that means externally is a lot of confusion and change. We're seeing this disparity. What it means internally, which is where we need to work, which is where we've got the control, of course, is this disparity between the parts of us that are very established in love and light and the parts of us that are still stuck in the shadows. And so we think of it therapeutically, our work is to keep facing, processing, releasing anything old, fear-based that's stuck in us. This could be old trauma, this could be old wounding, this could be old issues from the past, from childhood. It can be even old past life stuff. It could be ancestral stuff, inherited stuff, absorbed stuff, even collective stuff. So our shadow work is really amplifying when we're being asked to work on releasing old dense energies more than ever, because we can't take that along with us into the new consciousness. And so you might have noticed that when it's good and you're feeling plugged in the stillness, in now, maybe in nature, or just in your meditation practice, when you're plugged in, it's better than ever. it's never been easier to plug into spirit. I remember reading commentary 20 years ago saying this is the best time there's ever been to be incarnate on this planet, because energetically things have never been more open, never been more available. If you like, it's easier to become enlightened now than it's ever been on this planet. And so when it's good, it's great, but when it's bad, it's terrible. And it's not really bad, but what I mean is when our stuff is up, when our shadow's up, when some unresolved wounding or issue is up, it's worse than ever, it's louder than ever, it's creating more disharmony and pain than ever, because the amplification is highlighting it more than ever. So the importance of keeping up with our inner work at the moment is critical. And so what do we need to, ride out this transition? I think if you're watching this, if you're engaged in your inner work, this is not about, we've got to be perfect to make the grade. No, this is something that we can't judge, because I think it's a soul level thing. How much has our soul responded to the light, to spirit, to love in the last 12,500 years? And of course that's a much bigger assessment than just this little lifetime, this little specific incarnation we might be in, body, brain, personality as James or whoever. So we can't judge on someone's current incarnational presentation. We simply can't judge that. Who are we to judge on a soul level what's going on? But it is this separating out that's happening. It is an assessment. It is a process of, is the soul ready to go up to the next grade, the next class, the next level, or does the soul need to repeat those lessons and continue on in the same sort of trajectory? That's what we're dealing with. And so, in a sense, the decision's already been made, but the difference is in how open we are to it. The difference can be maybe the scales are very close. I felt a deep calling in my work for a long time now is helping people where the scale's very close, just to tip them over the edge into more light. So my work as a therapist is about clearing the darkness. So perhaps that critical bit of work is making a difference for someone on that deeper level to be ready for the new, as opposed to still being in the old. It's a bigger picture, it's complex, there's lots of dimensions to this, of course, but this work is about clearing as much shadow as we can to get us over the line, if that's what it's coming down to, if it's really coming down to the wire like that. But let's say it's already established. If you're watching this, you're probably already well established in the light. You probably already said yes to spirit 1,000 times over the last millennia. But now it's about riding out the roller coaster. So we're on the big roller coaster. We're on the biggest ride in the park right now. It's wild. It's a wild ride at the moment. Even the weather, whatever that is about climate change, it's certainly, the earth doing a detox, it's nature changing, it's nature ascending. It's the planet ascending, the planetary body, this being that's the planet ascending. So it's absolutely a wild ride in every way at the moment. Yeah, weather, politics, wars and tensions internationally, domestically, the separation in wealth, the division of wealth, the stress financially, all sorts of things are being tested at the moment. So how do we ride out the roller coaster? When my kids were little, they used to love going to Luna Park down in Melbourne and going on all the rides, especially my daughter, she was up for every thrill. She loved gymnastics and trampolining and going on all these rides. And I learnt to enjoy them. I learnt to surrender to the ride. So whereas, I haven't done a lot of those things, I suppose, but, initially I might be sort of bracing against it, hang on. And I would find it would be unpleasant if I was fighting against it. But what I learned was to actually go with the ride. And I found that's where it became much more enjoyable, was just accepting that, okay, this machinery is strong enough, I'm not going to die, it's intense, but to actually go along with the sensations of it. And while my daughter was just, blissing out, on my son, just having a great time with the excitement of it, I learned to enjoy it through the relaxing and the going with it and the trusting that, this machinery is sound and it's tested and it's not going to fall apart. And I would invite us to bring that same attitude to this current roller coaster that we're on, in terms of the great shift, the great transition, the timeline split, 3D to 5D, Earth Ascension, whatever you want to call this interesting time we're in. Big roller coaster ride. But let's surrender to it. Let's trust that the cosmos knows what it's doing, the universe knows what it's doing, the planet knows what she's doing, God, Goddess knows what they're doing. It is all in divine order. It's all held in the spiritual order of things. And so we can trust that where we're going is good. Certainly this upward is going to be fantastic. This will just be more of the same for those souls that need more of the same. But this interesting process, apparently never been done before in the universe in this way. It's an exciting ride, but when we trust that it is all in divine order, then we can be more peaceful in it. And the goal now is to be still. Our goal is to be centered, grounded, time in nature, meditating, time being still, plugging in, unplugging from a lot of things, particularly mainstream news. That's the first thing to unplug from. Too much, devices and things, too much scrolling. More time grounded with loved ones, with our animals, with nature, being more peaceful, being more centered. Just being really present and focusing on the things that most matter, like spending some minutes gazing at the sunrise. It's safe to look at the sun for the first 15 minutes or so, I believe, and it's actually good. We're designed to actually get those early morning rays, and it stimulates melatonin production, all these things that are good for the body, sets us up in our sleep cycle, our waking sleep cycles. So looking at the sunrise and the sunset as well. Back to basics, back to growing zucchinis and making pumpkin soup, back to time with friends and family and loved ones, and just conversations and fun. And I'm really enjoying dancing at the moment. You're doing dancing lessons, would you believe? And just the joy of that, the movement, the music, the social aspect of that. Whatever it is, playing guitar, whatever gives you that joy, that's the thing to do more of at the moment. That's how we ride out the roller coaster in the strongest, most grounded, peaceful way. If it's about tipping us over the line, tipping the scale into more light than darkness, then that's a powerful way to do it. Certainly we need our modalities, our healers, our helpers that help us with our process work, as well as our own daily process work, shadow work. And certainly it's also a time about connection, community, finding like-minded people. Obviously what we're talking about here is pretty out there for a lot of people. I know I'm taking a bit of a risk putting this out here now, but I offer this because for those who are open to this and there's a need to hear it, well, this is for you. I'm saying this just to let you know that you're not alone, you're certainly not going crazy, and this is something more and more people are talking about. We need to find our community. We need to find like-minded people in this. And those who just can't handle it, well, that's their journey. But it is a time for joining with like-minded people. So I offer this with love for those who are open to it. And I hope you find this as helpful. Please reach out, comments, if you need support or help or more information. Yep, you're not alone in this. I hope you find this helpful. So yeah, relax, enjoy the ride. We're all in this together, and see you next time.